got Ethan Payne with us right now. Who's going to lead off?
Ethan, having looked at film a little bit about how it transpired on Saturday, you guys scored 34 points against a really good defense. So that's a positive. Now, what do you do moving forward now?
I say we keep on doing what we do, go back to work. It's the same thing every week, just go back to work.
How about your play? Obviously, Rasheen was out there toward the latter part of the game. You came right in and contributed.
Just do what I do. When my number's called, is to just go out there and make plays.
For this offense, they've shown the ability to move the ball. What's kind of been different maybe about this offense versus kind of the personnel you had last year, and how's that working?
I think our tempo is really getting to defenses. The more we use tempo, the more we can move the ball. So I think that's a big contributor.
Ethan, how have you seen your role over the past 2 years kind of grow here? We're seeing you out there a lot more during games and stuff. Just how have you seen your role grow, and how have you personally grown?
I personally grew, like the game slowing down for me a lot more, be able to see things that I couldn't have 2 years ago. Whatever my role is, just go out there and play.
What's your early impression of your opponent this week? What's the challenge for you and the team?
I think the challenge is the same as every week. We play good defenses every week, so I think just coming in to work, being consistent and execute. I think that's a big part.
They do anything different than what you faced last week?
Yeah, they do things a little bit differently. We played a 3-3 stack last week. That's ACC defense. So this week we're going back to the Sun Belt defense. So we should be able to handle it.
You went through the Sun Belt conference late last year, and right back in the thick of it this year. What's the challenge coming up? You don't want to look too far ahead, but just in general, the challenge that the Sun Belt presents.
The Sun Belt is very challenging. We play a good team every week, no matter what week it is. We'll have a challenge. I think, yeah.
Any further questions?
Thank you.
Good.
Right.
Thank you.
All right, everybody.
Yeah, even more. Yeah.
We got center Logan Osborne. Who wants to lead off?
Hey, Logan, same thing I asked Ethan, but you guys scored 34 on a really good defense. That's the positive part, but you didn't get the win. How do you process what happened Saturday and use it to your advantage coming up, going to Georgia State?
Yeah, we didn't score enough, obviously. Every time we're on the field, we want to score. At the end of the day, we got to score one more point than they do. And, our defense gave up 48. We should score 49. That's just, at the end of the day, that's how it is.
Looking at your opponent this week, what's different than what you faced against NC State? What's maybe the challenge? What do they do?
I mean, physically they're smaller, but they give great effort just like them. They're great. They're big. They're strong. They have that leverage on them, and I think their culture has totally changed from last year. It seems like a totally different team. They got a new defensive coordinator. They're running after the ball, just giving great effort on play. Something that we didn't really see last year.
Anybody stand out when you look at them?
I think their linebackers are really good. Their front seven is where they, want to hit home at, just like every team. Seems like we play these days. But their front seven is really good. They're physical. They're strong, smart football players.
Coach kind of talked about your guys' mentality after that loss. Said, I think he used the phrase "pissed off" as an action. How do you take what happened last week, to motivate you, to kind of rebound? Because it's been a while since you lost.
You kind of have to use it almost like as a weapon. You got to take a step back and see, like, what did we do good at and what did we not do so well at. And it's a great learning tool. You don't want to necessarily learn that way off of like a loss, but it can help you eventually. At the end of the day, all we want is in front of us. So we're starting Sunbelt, or we're continuing our Sunbelt conference play now, and all we want is in front of us.
Logan, on the bright side, we talked last week about, needing to come out and start fast. It kind of felt like you guys did that going into halftime with, the lead. Did it feel like that?
Yeah, I think every week we've taken a step as an offense. Looking back at week one, we were getting booed. in the stadium. And, we kind of took that to heart, and I think just every week we've built just a little bit more, taking a step further as an offense.
Logan, now going through this league, but this is a gauntlet you're running through next several weeks. Is that obviously it gets your attention every week? It's like there's a challenge, and there's no easy contest out there.
Yeah, the Sun Belt it's different. Every week is a challenge. Every week, they have some studs, some position. So we've already been through it. We know what to expect. We're familiar with some of these teams. It's a little bit different now with the portal. The guys come in and out frequently, and you have to kind of prepare for that. But we know most of the teams how they're going to play, what they're going to do, how physical they are, what their effort scale is. So, we're familiar with that.
Any further questions for Logan?
Thanks, Logan.
Thank you.
All right, thank you all. Joe, we got Owen Porter.
Owen, just last week we've been talking, about what you guys learned from going down to Raleigh. What's maybe some of the biggest things that you learned after that loss?
We got to play more discipline on the defense for sure. We've been getting away with it, and came back and bit us in the butt. We had too many MAs, too many missed tackles, and it showed, and we lost. Too many explosive plays off of them. So.
Coach referenced 342 days since you lost. Is that obviously, did that sink in right after the game, or is it something that you guys have thought about? Hey, it's been a while. What's it feel like, and how do you rebound?
I don't know I didn't even really notice that it was 342 days. I know for a lot of the defensive guys after the ODU game, although we did win, it felt like a loss, right? It was the first time we'd ever given up probably over 40 points since Sam and I were probably redshirt freshmen against Cincinnati. And that was not a good feeling. It felt like a loss to us. So, losing to NC State just stung even more.
I think Coach described it as, sometimes you guys are a little bit boom or bust on the defensive side. Whether that's, you get a stop in the backfield and then, somebody gets loose for 30, 40. Yeah. Where does that problem, where is that sourced, and how do you go about fixing it? I'm sure you're aware of it.
I don't think it's sourced through any specific group. It's just basic MAs. If you're the open man and the play is designed for you to make the tackle, you got to make it. You can't miss a tackle. We got to leverage the ball better, set edges better. But yeah, we're either big play or big bust. We got to figure out how to fix that and how to just play better defense and get back to stopping the run on a consistent basis.
Now you're turning the page, conference play this week. Just what do you see out of Georgia State, and how important is it to get a win this week? And you got a gauntlet ahead of you, so.
Yeah, at the end of the day, right, we lost NC State, but it didn't matter. They're not a conference team. Our goal was to win the conference championship. That's still in front of us. We still want to own the conference. At the end of the day, it was like playing an exhibition game. Georgia State has a very good quarterback. We saw him firsthand last year. Kid makes plays with his arm, makes plays with his feet. You got to corral him or he'll get out of there and he can run. I think in the UConn game he had a 60-yard touchdown, so he's got some burners on him. They got a good wide receiver, number one, and a good running back. They both are able to run. Number one's a very good wide receiver. He's kind of his go-to guy, especially on third down. So you got to be able to corral and get after the quarterback, affect his throws, especially as the defensive line.
Yeah, Coach had mentioned Granger. He's maybe staying even in the pocket more than he was a year ago. So he's kind of advanced his skill set a little bit, huh?
Yeah, definitely probably a better thrower as we've seen throughout this first beginning of the season. As we keep getting through film, we're trying to, pick apart as much as we can. But yeah, he's playing very good football.
It's kind of a team that has a whole different swagger than it did at this point in the year last year. Last year I think they started 0-4. Now they're sitting at 4-1. What has changed about them? Other than some personnel.
Yeah, they have completely flipped their program around for sure. I think they were 1-5 or 2-5 when we played them last year, and they played us down to the wire. I believe they got a new defensive coordinator. And I think the Granger kid just knows the offense better. He's kind of taken that step and he's going to carry the team, right? If you watch a lot of the games, big plays come off of him. He builds motivation for their team. He helps the defense and the special teams to perform the way that they do based off of how he plays. So I think a lot of it runs through him. I think they finally figured out their culture and their type of playing football. They play tough just like we do, and we just have to go out there and, make it work.
Is everybody good for OP?
Sweet.
See y'all. All right, Sam Burton, everybody.
How y'all doing? What's up?
Is Granger similar to Morris, the kid you just saw Saturday? I mean, he's obviously played more and has more experience.
Yeah, he's getting into the second year in that offense, so he's a little more comfortable, a little more experienced, than the quarterback we just played, and he can make a lot of plays with his feet. He has a nice arm, nice long ball, and I just feel like we got to contain him and just stop him from doing what he does.
I'll throw you the same question I threw Owen. The boomer bust that has been, some of the defensive play. How do you go about correcting that? Because when you guys are on, you're taking the ball away, you're getting sacks, but it's just it seems like a couple plays a game.
Yeah, we just got to stay disciplined throughout the game because we'll be going, we'll be in our gap, and then it's one missed tackle or one person's out of gap, and then it shoots for 60, 50 yards. So we just got to stay more disciplined consistently. Like, we'll be consistent for a couple plays, and then boom, and then it hits. So we just got to fix that.
How difficult is it to, in that third quarter, it felt like there was a momentum shift and 3 touchdowns were scored in like less than 6 minutes. Just how difficult is it to be consistent when that is kind of happening to you guys?
I feel like that comes from the way we practice, because we practice the same style every week. We do the same thing on specific days. So I feel like that plays a big role in just being consistent and trying to keep the level of play that we do throughout the whole game. So I feel like that helps for sure.
When you look at your career as a whole here at Marshall, you battled injury at times, but just how much enjoyment has this year brought? Because your production is taking another leap.
It's fun for sure. It's a little different than a couple of other years because a little bigger role, making some more plays. So it's definitely more exciting. But we still got a long season ahead of us, so we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
Coach Huff has done the math. 342 days since you guys had come off a loss. How have you handled that? How will you handle that? And he said you were PO'd about it, and you should be as a team, right?
Yeah, we just got to look past it and just keep going. We lost NC State, but, they're not in our conference, so we got a whole bunch of conference games. I'm pretty sure the rest of the games are conference games, so we just got to focus on what's in front of us and fix what was going wrong in the past and just keep going.
Marcus Carroll, the running back this week, what stands out to you about him?
He's really athletic. Him and the quarterback, they make a good duo. He's a little shorter, but he has power and speed, so I feel like we got to really hit him and get him to stop his feet so he can't make too many impact plays.
Any further questions for Sam?
Thank you, Sam.
Appreciate it. Yep.
He said, Mr. Interception, we got Deonte Hill.
How y'all doing?
Lead off Luke.
Well, Deonte, after you put the NC State game behind you, is it right back to work this week knowing that the team goals are still right there ahead of you?
Yeah, so as a team, we trying to continue to work towards our standard, day by day, practice by practice. And I feel like that loss is exactly what we needed to open up our eyes to see, what's in front of us. This is real life. And if we fall asleep, anything can happen at any moment.
Looking at the game this week, what's going to be different for you and your side of the ball compared to what NC State was offering last week?
I believe winning the one-on-one matchups, just because the offense they run. So spread that one wide receiver out, like out wide, number one. He's a pretty good wide receiver. But as long as we can win our one-on-one matchups, we should be in good hands.
You talked about it a little bit after the game Saturday, but just the effectiveness of the defense when it's on. I mean, you guys are taking the ball away and creating turnovers and getting stops in the backfield. And is that kind of I mean, obviously, you guys expect that kind of performance every week.
Yeah. I feel like that's our standard. We practice that in and out of practice, you know, whether that's ripping the ball out, when the play comes to us, make the play. You know, like, long as defense out there, like, we expecting to get the ball back for the offense.
Talking about the quarterback Granger, he's pretty talented with his arm and his feet. So I know you guys have looked at him, but he seems like he's rounding into his form. He's playing as well as he has throughout his career.
Yes, sir, definitely. And with him is, like, another thing, he can throw on the run, too. So I feel like staying on the receiver throughout the play because he does good, like, with keeping the ball alive and making the play extend. So I feel like as long as we can contain him and, you know, put him in the box, we should be good.
Kind of going off of that, I mean, how do you guys, I guess, how do you plan to do that? Because, I mean, you know, we've been talking about these breakout runs that keep happening. So why do you think that is happening, and how are you planning to go in and put a stop on it?
Everybody just play their role, you know. When the play comes to you, make the play. Don't go outside of your frame to try to be a playmaker, you know. If you're supposed to be in the gap, be in that gap, and sooner or later the play is going to come to you.
Is everybody good? Thank you. Thanks, Duke. We got Mr. Interception ×2, J.J. Roberts.
Well, JJ, tough loss down in Raleigh, but, you know, people often say you learn more from a loss than you do a win. Does it kind of help that this happened right before this, like, gauntlet of conference games that you have in front of you?
Yeah, I would say so, just because, you know, Coach Shoup says that winning minimizes the problem, but losing magnifies it, but the problems are still there regardless of the win or loss. And, you know, throughout the season we've had, like, the same reoccurring problems, you know, in the defense, and, you know, we've been winning, but obviously the loss definitely makes us hone in on it more, but definitely does.
JJ, as you look at the chunk plays you guys have given up, is that more of just a scheme or just like one guy being out of position? I mean, it's something that's fixable, right?
Oh, it's definitely fixable. Like Deonte said, we just got to all do our role, make sure we're doing what our job is and do what we're assigned to do, and then, you know, those type of plays won't happen.
What about their pass game just overall with Granger taking some shots downfield and then Lewis specifically at wide receiver #1?
Yeah, #1 is a really good player, and the quarterback's also a really good player, but, you know, as long as we do our job and you stay on top of the deep ball and have good eye discipline, then we should be good.
Anything further for JJ?
JJ, your first go around in the Sun Belt, but obviously, I mean, every week is a battle. Similar, you played in the ACC, so you know that. But there's no looking past anybody in this league, is there?
Oh, absolutely not, especially conference play. I mean, every game's going to be the same. It's going to be a grip. It's going to be a battle. I mean, every game this season for us has been a battle up until the last snap. So, I mean, nothing new. You know, you just got to keep our head in the game and make sure we focus every play.
There we go.
Thank you.